So I understand. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but you grew up in the Metroplex, right? Dallas Fort Worth area.
Yeah, yeah. I grew up in Oak Cliff,
Okay.
and I always say I had the best of both worlds because my family was from the country, and see, back in the day, my parents. This is what's crazy. They had me very late. My parents were born in the 40s.
Wow. Mine,
Yeah,
mine
and
too. Mine too.
yeah, so my family grew up on farms, and my parents grew up on farms. And the first thing, this is when ranching wasn't as sexy as it is now,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like it's all everybody wants to be a rancher and a cowboy now, but back then it was truly hard work,
hmm
you know.
Well,
And so
Hollywood has definitely sensationalized it a lot, haven't they?
yeah, yeah, like, and now I ranch cattle, and it's not near any kind of hard work that my parents damn had to go through with picking cotton, and it was a hard childhood for them growing up, and so the first thing they wanted to do was move to the big city,
Right.
you know, and so but I was real blessed because I always I kind of had the best of both worlds. I always say I'm hood and country. So I grew up in Oak Cliff, and then spent the summers out with my family out in the country.
And I love that too because, like, as a fan of yours, you can hear both sides of that in your sound too. And
Well, man, I appreciate that, Chris. Thank you for noticing
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
brother.
Well, I'm
I
excited to
appreciate that.
chat about it. We'll get into the nuts and bolts of the music very soon, but I want to know where you came from, man. You talked about your parents. What are some lessons you still hold true that you got from your parents that still hold true today for you?
My dad was a trash truck driver, and I'll never forget this. I'd walk in, and well, he'd walk in. It'd be 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'd be up, as a teenager, uh, just up watching TV or something, and my dad would sit on a chair and put on his boots, and I asked him a question. I said, "Dad, how do you wake up without an alarm to go, take care of trash at
Mm-hmm.
3 o'clock in the morning? How do you do it every day?" And my dad said something to me that always will stick with me. He said, "It's hard, but it's fair."
Hmm.
And that always sticks with me. Like, when you go through life, anytime you get to things that are difficult, um, it might be hard, but it's all fair. Some people get it worse than you, some people get it lighter than you, right? So it's all fair in the wash, and that has really helped me to be in a position of looking down the road of and not complaining and excuse me, I'm sorry about that.
It's all good. My
I
phone
had
just
that
went
on
off
mute.
too, so I had to mute mine as well.
But yeah, but so not complaining, not feeling sorry for yourself, just kind of taking it all in stride, and I'm so grateful to have that. So that was one of the most important lessons I ever learned from my old man.
That's amazing. What about your mom? There's always something, right?
Yeah, my mom, what's funny, my mom was the firecracker. My dad was real cool, laid back, but
Mm-hmm.
mom, she was the firecracker. And the one thing that I learned from my mother uh is my mom was the most resourceful person in the world. My mom could take some rice and some ingredients and literally make a meal that you thought was for a king,
Yeah.
and we didn't have any money, a lot of money, right? And I just remember that so much about my mom, to where she looking at pantry, and I remember looking in the pantry because it was empty, trying to find a snack after school or something, and she would always just come up and so I really want to say, even though it wasn't music, I get that creative aspect from her,
Mm-hmm.
because you had to be a creative, resourceful person to feed a big Joe Walker, because he ate a lot
Mm-hmm.
growing up. you
Moms
know?
are that way, aren't they, man? Like they
Yeah,
find a
yeah,
way to
absolutely,
make mountains out of molehills, so to speak.
absolutely,
Man, my wife is
absolutely.
that way. Like I'll look in the kitchen, I'll be like, "Baby, there ain't nothing in here but cereal and bagels," and she'll come out
Yeah,
like 45 minutes later and just have like this 8 course meal, and I'll be like,
yeah,
"All right,
yeah,
look,
yeah.
okay, making a liar out of me all the time."
Yeah, well, that means you got a good one, because I
Yeah.
promise you, like, I think that's really, and even the segue, that's really how I've kind of looked at my career. I've never had a hit record. I've never received big notoriety for music. But the thing about it is that I've just always been so resourceful as far as making sure that, you know, that I play shows, that I get out there and get it any way that I can. And I've been blessed with a beautiful life to be able to do that, you know.
Yeah, and those are two lessons that are imperative, I think, in today's DIY environment when it comes to
Yeah,
music, man. So I love that those are your answers because I can guarantee you they're serving you well.
I appreciate it.